Much for joining with us and being part of our world and allowing us to be part of your world. I've got my good friend, Mr. Kurt Mortensen. He's a world-renowned author. People know of him and follow him all over the world. And he's a huge friend of the foundation. He was so helpful in helping us get all these digital things onto the digital platform. And he's going to be talking about millionaire psychology. It's in the head. Life's a game and games are fun. Money's a game and games are fun. Influencing for good is a game and games are fun. So let's go have some fun. So if we can bring Kurt on and let's see if we can get him on, I'd love to have him talk a little bit about the psychology. How do you think? What do you think about? And how do you make it happen? We might have to get him out of bed because it's only 7:14 in the morning here. Let's see if we made sure that he was there.
Yeah, sorry, give me 1 second. Okay.
Thank you so much for sending in your chats. As we're going through it, looks like we've got Pakistan reporting in. Thank you so much for that. We've got Nigeria. We got people all over the world jumping in here. Okay, looks like we got Kurt out of bed. All right, let's take it away, Kurt. Thanks for watching, everybody. We're going to be...
Hey, Success and Money Foundation. It's time. Millionaire Psychology. Let's get to the mindset. Not a time to just, oh, that's nice. These are the skills that make the biggest difference. These are the skills that Napoleon Hill found, and Think and Grow Rich. That'll make you a better, more successful, probably even a wealthier person. Let's get started with Millionaire Psychology number 11. Hopefully you did last week's homework. You got into time management, figuring out, okay, am I spending minor time on minor things? Am I starting to create the right type of lists? Am I doing it the right time of day? Make sure that is happening. But let's get more into the mindset, the leverage, accomplishing more with little time. How do you do that? Couple different ways. We're going to talk about that leverage. We're going to talk about some relationships that you have. Some things that we've dabbled into in the past that we need to spend a little more time on in this stage of millionaire psychology. Story time. So you've heard it before, the fable of the mouse and the lion. So the lion's sleeping, king of the jungle. And this mouse just playing around, not scared. But then the lion wakes up a little upset that he was woken up and puts his paw on the mouse, and the mouse can't get away. And he's like, I can eat you. He's picking up, playing with it. And this mouse feeling a little scared. So the mouse is like, look, let me go. Someday, somehow, I'll repay the favor. I will help you. I will save your life. And the lion's like, king of the jungle, what can you do for me? You're a mouse, a tiny mouse. But amused, the lion let the mouse go. All right. Didn't think much of it. Didn't think the mouse would ever repay. Fast forward a few months. This mouse is awoken by these loud roars in the jungle. Wants to see what's going on. And this lion had been caught by hunters. And it was trapped in a net and it couldn't get out. Here comes the mouse. The lion's like, oh, okay, whatever. But the mouse is going to replay the favor. And all night long, it gnawed on the net. It gnawed the sharp teeth, gnawed and gnawed, and finally freed the lion, this tiny little mouse. What's the moral? What's the lesson? Anybody can help you become financially better, become successful. Especially a lot of people around you can help you accelerate your course. Everybody knows somebody that can help you, that can do business with you, that knows someone that can do business with you. That's the power of relationships. That's the leverage we're looking for. But you have to, with that, have that burning desire that we talked about. You have to just want it. You have to want it so bad. Remember that desire, that burning desire that Napoleon Hill talks about. So you have your leverage, you have your relationships, but you still have to want it. You have to want it more than anybody else. Another story where you have this young man wants to be successful, asks everybody in the village what he needs to do. He says, got to talk to the guru. Talk to the guru. Again, of course, the guru's at the very top of the mountain. So hey, it's worth it. He makes the trek, talks to the guru, says, I want to be successful. I want to be successful. He goes, all right, we'll come back tomorrow. He's like, what? The guru's just tested. A lot of mentors will do that. We'll say, all right, we'll see if they will that. You came back tomorrow and said, all right, talked about a few things. Come back tomorrow, I'll give you the real secret. So he came all the way back up, and this time they walked a little further. This was the third day going up and down this large mountain. He's like, really? Why didn't you just tell me the first day? He says, all right, I'll show you the secret. You sure you want to know? And they waded into this river. And this guru took this young man's head and stuck it underneath the water and held it down. This young man struggling, can't get up. He's about to pass out. He came up for a breath of air. And he pushes down again. He's struggling. This happened 3 or 4 times. This young man's like, what this guy's doing? He's trying to kill me. And you finally let him up. They went to shore. He was catching his breath. He's like, what was you doing? I thought you were going to teach me the secret of success. The guru says, that is the secret. When you want that success, whatever your goal is, as much as you wanted that air, then the universe will reward you. Then you can make things happen. So we have to do a combination of both. We have that mindset, that burning desire. Let's talk about some of that things that'll give you the leverage, that'll increase the speed to success and wealth. So what do we mean by leverage? So this leverage, just like a good engine on your car, the right wheels, increases your speed. When everything's done right, leverage increases your speed to wealth, speed to success, speed to your goals, whatever it is you're trying to accomplish with this course. Now, sure, you're smart enough to figure it out on your own, but you just don't have the time to do that. That's why we want to develop some shortcuts along the way where you don't have to go through all the school of hard knocks. I'm not saying that you'll never be a hard time, a hard moment, but you can at least reduce them. Why not get half the lumps on your head learning to walk than all of them? That's what we're talking about with leverage. You see, leverage, you can control a lot with just a little. It's a financial principle. You can leverage yourself when you buy real estate using other people's money. You can leverage your time. You can leverage a lot of different things. You can leverage other people that we are definitely going to talk about. So this leverage is a critical point. Again, you can figure it out on your own, but I just don't think you have the time for that. Maybe you have the energy. You can. You're smart enough for that. But, maybe you just want to leverage the different things we'll be talking about here. So without leverage, you rely on your own knowledge, experience. Again, it's taking more time. It gets limited. You have tunnel vision. Everybody needs somebody else. Even the greatest sports people in the world, Michael Jordan, one of the greatest basketball players ever, still needed a coach because what you think you're doing right or wrong can be very different. So another set of ears and eyes, and that's what somebody else can do. That's what a mentor can do, for example. That's the people around you can help you out. So with this, and I learned this from my mentors, Mark Victor Hansen, it's the OPM, other people's money, OPE, other people's experience, OPI, other people's ideas, OPT, other people's time, OPW, other people's work. Now, when I say other people's ideas, I'm not saying to steal them, but they have ideas that are sitting there to do nothing with. Work on it together. If they have a great idea, don't know how to do it, you do. So remember, money, experience, ideas, time, work, there are a lot of different things that you can leverage that will increase your speed to success. One of the first ones we've dabbled on a little bit is those networks. Every relationship increases your network, and the bigger the network, the easier it is to become financially independent, the easier it is to find the right person to help you out, the easier it is to do business with other people, because people do business with people they like, people they know. That's how it is. So don't just get to know people, get to know people. Meaning when you meet that, make an impact. And don't think they're going to remember you. It's like this guy who was a real estate agent. He was all offended that his friend, it wasn't the best friend, but it was a friend, went with another real estate agent. He finally saw her. He said, why'd you do that? I'm a real estate agent. He says, oh, yeah, you are. So don't think it's always in their mind. You have to collect their names, their numbers, their emails, whatever it is to stay in contact. You can't just think 3 years later they're going to remember your conversation, know who you are, especially for the people that you're casually meeting to increase your network. And here's the key. You stay in touch with all these contacts at least at a minimum twice a year. Remember, everybody in your network, every person can help you, know someone that can help you, can do business with you, know someone that can do business with you. That's how business works. That's how life works. So at least twice a year, put it in your calendar, whatever you need to do. You can send a quick email for happy birthday. There's one right there. Go on social media, happy birthday, stay on their radar. It could be a text to their phone for a birthday or some type of anniversary that you know. You can give them a phone call and leave a message about maybe something happened in their life that you want to congratulate them on. Maybe their favorite sports team won something or their favorite college. Be a phone call. It could be a card. That could also be for a birthday. In fact, they have resources on the internet that'll send you a birthday card every year to a different person, and you don't have to think about it, it just happens. I'm just saying, just put it out there. Letters, face-to-face, whatever you need to do just to stay in touch, to stay on their radar. Otherwise, they're no longer in your network. You can't think you've met someone 3 years ago that they're in your network. This is something you have to work on to build and maintain those relationships. So we're building our networks, and as we're doing that, like I mentioned earlier, you need a mentor. You need someone that can help you out. Now, what's a mentor? Well, it's a wise and trusted counselor. It's a teacher. They're detached. They don't necessarily have a vested interest in what you're doing, so they can give you honest advice. Don't let it offend you. They're being honest. That's their experience. That's what they do. And as you look at your networks, even if you added someone that you didn't think was successful, you could learn from them. Remember we talked about the world's biggest loser? You could learn something from them. Even what not to do. You could learn from the people. Even Aunt Edna, the negative person in your family, I mean, you can really take from them what not to do. Don't be negative. Don't be pessimistic. Don't suck the life out of people. I mean, there's an opposite side to this too. But then you look at your network. These are mentors. These are people have done what you want to accomplish. They're there. And here's the real secret to success. This is really what's happening. You should always have a mentor, a trainer, a coach, whatever you want to call it. Always. And you should be mentoring others. You're an expert in something. You can do something, and that's the key. I mentor people in the world of persuasion, influence, mindset, negotiation. That's my thing. And then I look at my weaknesses and I find a mentor or a coach or a trainer, somebody that can teach me in the areas that I need to work on. That's how it is. You should always be getting mentored and always be mentoring others. So these mentors, they give us perspective. They've been there. They'll tell you, you can't do that in 2 weeks. It's going to take 2 years. No, I've tried that before, and I thought it would work too, but this works a little bit better. They simplify, and I'm going to add speed up the process. They warn you of dangers. They put up the cones. Don't go here. Don't take this road. Don't go here. I've tried that. I lost money there. And it helps give you a little patience because you know they've done it. And you know it's going to take a little more time than maybe you want, but then you can prepare yourself and get a little patience. And it gives you more synergy too. You're working with someone else, you're bouncing your ideas, and when you bounce your ideas to someone else, it kind of fine-tunes those. You start to learn to think like they think, do what they would do, and they just kind of fill in the gaps of ignorance, things you don't know or things you didn't even think about. Mentors have been happening since the beginning of time. I mean, if you want to be a blacksmith, you were an apprentice. You mentored. You were the grunt. You did the junk. If you want to be a chef, you start as a grunt, as an apprentice. This is how people learn. It could be a plumber, fill in the blank, any of those things. This has always been a principle of success. So how do you find a mentor? Make a list of missing resources. What's missing in your life, in your business? What's holding you back? That's the biggest key. Before you could find that mentor, you have to find the mentor that's going to mentor you on what you need to be mentored on. Then you could start looking. You've heard it before, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. Now, I'm not saying these relationships with mentors are cheap. You're going to pay with your time, your money, other things. You have to think, too, when we start narrowing this down, what can you do to help them? How does this benefit them? An apprentice to a blacksmith, they get to do all the grunt work, things that they don't want to do anymore. That's true. A chef does the same thing. You're chopping vegetables. That's what you do. They've graduated past that, but as you do that, you're learning, you're growing, and you're becoming like your mentor. And once you've done that, you identify the person. Who is that? Or maybe start asking around in your network for the person that you need. Doesn't have to be someone you know. You can find them on the internet. There are plenty of coaches that can specialize in the area that is your weakness. So it doesn't necessarily have to be in your network. It could be outside your network. Take a millionaire to lunch. Well, they're the millionaire. They should pay. No. If a millionaire's going to spend an hour with you, you should pay. They have to eat too. And you'd be surprised how often they say yes. And you could ask them to mentor you. And you could ask them to recommend someone that could mentor you. Or just ask them some basic old-fashioned advice. What would you do in this situation? And write it down and be grateful that they're willing to spend time with you, even though you had to pay for lunch. It's very inexpensive mentoring. So you have your own contacts you're networking with, but then widen the search there to where maybe your network contacting their network or their contacts. It widens your search. You can look at other places, other sources. Maybe there's someone that's written a book specifically about what you're trying to solve. You can contact them through the internet, see if they'll mentor you. I mean, you can get a lot out of a book, but you can't learn to ride a bike from reading a book. You can't learn to play basketball from reading the book. It's a good start, but it's not the final piece to get you where you need to be. Books are a great start. You need a little bit more, but autobiographies are great mentoring vehicles. Abraham Lincoln, John Kennedy, Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, any of those, you can be mentored through the book. Eventually, you'll be hands-on, just like reading that book about basketball rules. You eventually have to get on the court and learn some of the fundamentals. One of my favorite stories here is Warren Buffett. In the 1950s, he was a young, inspiring investor. He decided he wanted to study under Benjamin Graham. Now, he wrote the book Intelligent Investor. He taught at the business school at Columbia University, and he was the guy. He was the man, and everyone knew he was the man, and so did Warren Buffett. He said, no, I want to mentor with him. So Buffett went to Columbia Business School specifically to learn from Graham. But when he got there, he was disappointed because Benjamin Graham had already retired from teaching. Oh, well, no, that didn't stop him. That was his first no. Okay, he was determined. He was persistent. He was going to make it happen. He didn't give up. So then he traveled all the way to New York City, knocked on Graham's door. I don't know how he found the address, but he went to Graham's door. He says, I love your work. I want to learn from you. And he got a no. And this kept happening. Contacts kept happening. He kept asking. And what happened? Buffett's burning desire and passion impressed Graham, especially after a few no's, and he agreed to mentor Warren Buffett. And later even hired him to work at his firm, his financial firm, where Warren Buffett learned everything he needed to learn to become one of the world's greatest investors, one of the world's wealthiest men. Just so you know. And you could do the same thing. You might get a no, but you keep going with somebody else or even with that person. So homework time, your favorite. So where the rubber meets the road, use another car analogy. It's all about that leverage, finding those mentors, having more relationships. That has always been the key. In fact, before I get to the final questions of the homework, things you need to be working on, a few mentors in my life. Robert Allen was a first-time author. I decided to write a book on persuasion and influence. And Robert Allen was already a best-selling author. I'm like, I can pick his brain, talk to him. But before I did, I was working on the title. So you learn real fast in the book publishing industry that the title is just as important as the content, or more important. That's what gets people to buy your book. And I came up with the most incredible title that included persuasion and influence. And it was so incredible, I didn't tell anybody around me. They could steal it. I reserved the domain name without anybody knowing. I didn't tell anybody because it was so cool. It was so incredible. It was definitely going to be a bestseller. I was excited about it. Fast forward, talking to Robert Allen, get a best-selling author multiple times. I was telling him, I'm writing this book, I'm doing this, I'm doing the research. I have an incredible title. He's like, what's your title? Do I tell him? I'll tell him. So I finally said, all right, it's Perfluence. It's a combination of persuasion, influence, perfluence. And he looked at me, he says, that's stupid. Which really at the time hurt my feelings. I thought it was the most incredible thing. But that's what mentors do. They steer you in the right directions. Been there, done that. If I wouldn't have heard that, I would have gone forward with it. I do realize now today that it is stupid, but it's just there. So look at the mentors in your life. I see them all over the place. Tom Painter, incredible mentor. We've been in multiple organizations, multiple businesses. He's been a mentor of mine. He's taught me a lot of different things. He's my Yoda, right? Where does Yoda say? There is no try, there's just do. And that's Tom Painter. He just does it till it happens. Does it till you're successful. In marketing, you test. You keep trying, you just do it. And that's his mentality. He'll figure it out, right? He'll figure it out. Might not get it right the first time, but he'll figure it out. The whole concept I've learned from Tom is the ready, fire, aim. Because if you spend all your time getting ready and you never and aiming, and you never fire, you'll never do anything. So we've talked about a perfect plan today is not as good as a okay plan. Because if you wait for a perfect plan, it's never going to happen. Oh, I'll get it today. No, an okay plan's better than a perfect plan, but you're never going to get to the perfect plan, so go with the okay plan and fine tune along the way. So, what's your homework? Make a list of the 10 people that could mentor you in your life. Who is it? People around you, maybe that just might be an acquaintance, maybe somebody else knows that person. Make the list of 10 and narrow it down. What is the one or two that you're going to contact? And realize they're going to say no a few times. And when people ask me to mentor them, I'll say no at first 2 or 3 times just to see how bad they want it. Do they have that burning desire? Do they want to get that breath of air? And keep asking, keep talking, and working with people. Narrow it down, find the people that can mentor you, and realize it's not free. You got to pay with your time, you might pay with your money, but it's the shortcut that makes a big difference. Can you find something about the charity and help them with that? Help them with their business, work for free, take them out to lunch, help them with one of their goals. Do something, make it a win-win for both of you. Don't just expect them to mentor you out of the kindness of their heart. They might. You should still ask, but what can you do to help them out, to help them achieve their goals? That's very, very important. So do the homework, make it happen, get that oxygen, that burning desire, get more relationships, increase your leverage, find those mentors, those coaches in your life, become more successful, change your family's life, change the world, change your own life, and make the world a better place.
Thanks so much, Kurt. It's so wonderful having Kurt with us. And I just want to talk to you a little bit about the rest of the story about Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger and people like that. You know, it was Warren Buffett that learned about Benjamin Graham, and he went to Columbia and then he later to New York. But Benjamin Graham didn't want to mentor him, didn't want to talk to him because at the time, Warren Buffett didn't have anything to offer. And it was not for a while until he started doing things, action, momentum. It's all about momentum. It's not about having it right. It's about moving in the right direction and then changing course. You know, they say that if you take off in an airplane and you are, let's say in Los Angeles and you're going to London, okay? You know, you have to change your course because you're always going to be off a little bit. You just readjust, 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 readjust until you get to London. If you didn't readjust, you would probably end up in Italy or someplace else. So the rest of the story with Warren Buffett is that he had to get moving. He had started doing things. And then when Benjamin Graham saw him doing things, then he was able to steer him, course correct him, but he was already moving. The foundation we created as your mentors. These are wonderful mentors. These are mentors that are in action. So instead of me sitting down and teaching you all the stuff, which I says, I'm going to duplicate it. I'm going to put it online so you can all listen to it. Then if you have a question, you can come to me with a question. If you need a little course correction, I can help you with the course correction, not to just sit down and teach it to them. Now, when you're getting started, teach it. Teach them the 5 steps. First group of 5 steps. Then add another layer, another layer, another layer, and another layer, because you'll learn it. And the more you teach it, the more you will fine-tune your own businesses. The more you teach it, you will fine-tune your real estate investing, your stock investing, your small businesses, whatever it is. My story about mentor with Bob Allen is very similar. I attended when I was in college his Nothing Down seminar. And I didn't have enough money to go, but my older brother was going, and they had a deal where the second person got in for half price. And the night before, my brother called and says, something came up, I'm not able to go. And so I went anyway, knowing that there's a high probability I wouldn't be able to stay. And at noon of the first day, the lady calls me up and says, your brother didn't show, so you know that the rule is that you'll need to pay full price. And at the time was $445. And I didn't have that kind of money. I had enough to pay the half price, 200 and so on. But I didn't give up. I says, are you sure we can't create a student discount price? And she looked at me kind of funny, like, what? And I said, I'm going to college right now. I'd really like to stay. Can we create a student discount price? And she says, can you prove to me you're a student? And I went out into the car and I got my physics book and my psych book, and I took them in and showed her that I was going to college and I would like to stay. And the only time that physics book or psych book has done me any good was it got me to stay into the seminar. And I sat there for 2 days learning about nothing down real estate. And the one thing I learned more than anything, more than the tools and techniques, the one thing I learned was that it was possible. That it was possible. 1 to 3% of all the properties out there for sale, it's possible to buy with little or nothing down. And since that time, I've learned how so many people do that. These big groups that I work with, they bring in partners that come in with a down payment. The general partners come in with a small part of it, and the other partners come in with lots of it. Big nothing down deals. Doesn't mean the seller doesn't get money. It just means that it's not your money. And so I got a chance to do that. And luckily, I saw in the back of the workbook where the office was. And it happened to be just out of pure coincidence in the same city I was going to college in. And I went to their office, hounded them for about a year, trying to get a job. Not because I wanted a job. I wanted to hang out with people that were doing it. And then one weekend, I had tickets to the big famous BYU-Utah game. Very hard to get back in the day. And I gave my tickets away, and because I was supposed to go on this trip. And they says, we don't have the people that we thought we're going to have. We really don't need you to go. And I says, guys, I just gave away my BYU-Utah tickets. You're sending me because I want to go. And I went out there and I moved boxes. I set up tables. I moved chairs. I set up water, whatever it took. It doesn't matter as long as you're on the team. I don't care if I'm the quarterback. I don't care if I'm the split end. All I want to do is be on the team, and I want to win, wherever that is. But I got a chance to meet Nick Kuhn. Nick Kuhn had bought and sold 1,100 houses. I met Wade Cook, who taught me about seller financing and massive companies that we do that kind of stuff with, which I've learned, and I've used that to do millions and millions of dollars of deals using those same techniques because I was doing it with somebody who was doing it. Now, you're a mentor. Every one of you are a mentor. You're a mentor for good or for bad. You're an example to those around you, for good or for bad. And your family and friends and associates aren't listening to what you're saying. They're watching what you're doing. And if you're out there making a difference in people's lives and doing the things and hauling the rocks, a leader is the guy that jumps in the water first and starts working, and then everybody else can follow him and be part of it. He isn't just the one that stands on the sideline and yells stuff. You got to be willing to get the right people in the right place to make it all work. You're a mentor. Now, as a mentor, you have wonderful tools. You got hundreds of hours of these wonderful tools. You've got books that you can download. The new book that I just finished is on site, and you're welcome to get that book for free. So I created the newest one, and I want to thank Josh for helping me so much on the visuals on this. But this is the 5 simple steps. So people are saying, well, I want something simpler than 5 steps. Well, here's the 5 simple steps. And you'll notice that on the pricing on this, that if you want to order it, that it's 81% off because we get non-profit pricing. And you can buy this wonderful book. There's 103 illustrations in it for under $4. Now, the shipping might cost you more than that, but we're trying to get that. We're trying to get this in other parts of the country. And then, of course, we've got the 5 steps. It's even bigger. And then we have a new one that is the one for students and teachers. In fact, I'm just going to take you for a second, if I may. I'm going to take you to the website. I want to show you a couple of quick things of where you can have access to these new wonderful things. So when you come back here to the successmoneyfoundation.org and you come here to courses, come down here to the free books and downloads. And, Kurt says that I'm always just moving in the right direction, putting it out there, getting a place saver, getting it feedback and retesting it and just making it better, making it better, making it better, instead of just sitting around forever waiting to see what the thing's going to look like. I'm a mover. I get stuff going. But there's the 5 simple steps right there. And this is the newest one we've got. And you can download it. You can read it online. You don't need to buy the book. This is the simple one. Now, for many of you, the main edition one right here is just a little bit bigger. And it's 184 pages. And we worked like heck to get this in color and for under $10. So the main edition one is $9.97. And again, you can just look at it, read it online. But if you want a hard copy, you can go to Amazon and order that. And it's $9.97. And then the one that's a little bit bigger than that, this one's got 250 pages. This one's really designed, for students that want to read more, students, teachers, and parents edition. And we work like heck. And again, the goal is to make it simple, easy to read, a lot of white spaces. There's no paragraphs. There's no paragraphs in the books because, well, every other book has that. So my book doesn't. Mine's simple to read. And then you've got the downloadable PDF right there. And then we've got these other great ones, book summaries. You want to learn the best from the books? Well, there's 101 of the, what I really love, the Success and Money book summaries. And you can download that one. You've got the quotes. And again, these can all be bought for nonprofit pricing on Amazon. There's the quotes book. I was looking at that quotes book yesterday. 75% of the people that have a phone have watched the video sitting on the toilet. So guess where all my books are? They're by the toilet. And when you're sitting there with nothing else to do, pull out the thing and go through a few things. And then, of course, we've got the 1001 Money Secrets. We've got the 101 quiz questions and answers. And then, of course, we've got some of the other great things here that you can use. You can just download and use them. Here's the Success and Money playbook that has slides, and you can go through them. You don't know what to talk about when you're talking to your family. Well, here's the slides. Just go through the slides one at a time. And then, of course, we got the Money Made Easy for kids, the Money Made Easy for young adults, and so forth. And so those are some of the wonderful things that we have on here that can make a difference. And so going back to a mentor, you're all a mentor, for good or bad. You're a mentor. You're a teacher. You're an example, for good or bad. And people are going to talk about you. So give them something good to talk about. In today's age, everybody's talking about everybody. And everybody's trying to get clickbait. And everybody's trying to be sensational. And everybody's yelling and screaming so somebody will listen to them. Well, be the example. If you have a friend that went to a movie and it was a great movie and they said, this is a good movie, the probability of going to that movie goes up dramatically. 5 times more, 10 times, probably 5 times more than if they just saw an ad. So the Success Money Foundation was designed, it was built so that you could be a mentor to someone else, so you could be an example to someone else. And we have hundreds of hours of material in there. And sometimes there's too much. So that's why we say just start with the 5 steps. Start with the Show the Wealth and Win video. And then go through and get them started. The real key is to, when you sign somebody up, get them to watch that first video, because that will give them a roadmap. And then help them. Cheer them on. I give cash rewards out to some of my family members when they read the books and stuff that I'm looking for, because they could use the money and I want to make sure they get through it. So anyway, thank you so much for being with us, guys. You make such a huge difference in everybody's lives. I have another class, but I'm going to hold it till next week because we're kicking off a new year. And 2024, we're going to kick it in the rear. We're going to make it happen. We're going to pour gas on this foundation. It's taken us years to build the structure. And it's taken us years to figure out what we're doing. And we're still doing it. We're still figuring it as, we're figuring it as we go. Ready, fire, aim, move the bullet. You have the ability to move the bullet in air, and readjust, set the new target. It's like these heat-seeking missiles. You shoot it out there, and guess what? The target's moving, but it has heat-seeking capabilities to it. So even if your target moves, it's going to move with it. 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 That's what we do. And I just want to thank my whole team. Jake, Josh, you guys are awesome. Daryl Johnson, every one of you that have helped make this thing work. You guys, and every one of you that are sharing the wealth, every one of you that are taking people to class, you're making a difference. And we're going to reward you too, because our real goal is to get rid of this stock and help you grow your own money tree. So that's why we do what we do. So everybody, thanks so much for watching. Make a difference. Make it happen. Remember, every life is precious. Every spirit, every soul has equal value. Not every person has equal value in the marketplace. My next door neighbor has done 2 back surgeries on me. And boy, is he never needed. But every spirit, every soul has equal value. So when you see the guy that's picking up the garbage, his spirit and soul is just as important as anybody else's. Be kind. Help him make a difference. Even that guy that's picking up the garbage is going to make, manage, and spend money his whole life. We got to teach him how to go do other jobs to make bigger differences. There's a lot of people could be that garbage man, but he's got other capabilities. So let's go teach him how to start little small businesses. Let's teach him how to add more value, solve bigger problems. That's how you move up a notch in your life. And that's our goal for you. We want you to move up a notch wherever you are. And the most important thing, the purpose of why we created the foundation was to help you and your family and your friends have a better life. That is the purpose of the foundation. And we do that by providing free success money classes for anyone, anywhere. We give out financial rewards to students when they go to class and share with others. We created a whole platform that you can use for yourself, as well as organized groups. And the most important part is to help those in need. There's two ways we help people in need. Some people just need something physical, food, water, whatever that is. They were dealt some terrible cards. But the most important thing, though, is to help them that way, but feed them a fish, give them a glass of water. You quench his thirst for the day, but if you can teach him how to fish, then you can change his whole family's lifetime. And if you can teach him how to teach, you can change a whole generation of people. And that's what we are, and that's what we do. So I'm so thankful for every one of you. God bless every one of you. You're making it happen. Thanks for watching. Next week, we're going to be kicking off a new year, and we are so close to 150,000 hours of online classes. We're going to celebrate. See y'all next week. Thanks for watching.